Hey, welcome to the Push-Pull Sales and Marketing Podcast. I'm Marcello.
And I'm Sherry, and each week we'll provide you with sales and marketing strategies that you can implement immediately into your own business. Today we're going to be talking about scripting when it comes to sales.
Okay. And we talked about terminology and all that good stuff in the, we actually just, do people say scope?
Yeah, so we scoped.
So, okay. So we just scoped. So we scoped on Periscope. We hopped on. So again, learning new terminology and all that good stuff. A lot of times when people hear scripts, what they think is they think of a canned pitch. And a canned pitch is basically a very rote, monotonous, and very obvious sales presentation. When I'm talking about scripting, it's not gonna be like that. I mean, you're gonna have basically the idea of what you're gonna say, and you're gonna have it. I have my son giving me tips from Mega Man in the background, so I apologize. But you're just gonna have a good idea of what you're gonna say, and even if you have some specific things that you are gonna say, you are still gonna have flexibility. Some of the best actors, for the most part, they're going off of the script, and there might be a little bit of ad-libbing in there.
Yeah.
So.
But when you're talking about a script, I mean, a lot of things that come to mind, if you're mentioning, that a salesperson should use a script, we're picturing Comcast customer service or something. When you call and you can tell so obviously that they're just reading off of a script. They're not listening to what you're saying. They're not giving you real feedback. They're not really being helpful. They're just kind of reading words on a page. And obviously that's not the kind of script that Marcello is talking about. And scripting can be a great tool, whether you're a beginner sales rep or a more advanced sales rep. It can kind of work at any point.
But even something in customer service too, just kind of going through if you're going through the motions, people, you can tell. And sometimes someone can say the exact same thing, and someone can be reading the exact same script and the exact same words, and it's gonna come across differently. So, for example, people that have and I have an American Express card. One of the things that people rave about is the customer service, and I mean, if you weigh everything out, American Express doesn't do anything that's really that crazy different.
As far as like cash back or benefits or like
for cash back or for benefits. I mean, there are some advantages, and if you spend a lot of money, it's nice to not have the limit and all that good stuff. But when you talk to someone, you call them up and there's an issue, they are just so thrilled to see you, and if they're faking it, they're doing the most amazing job of that. So they're telling you, "Oh my goodness, how you doing? And what's your name? Mark? Or Joe? Joe, and Joe, what's your last name? Joe Smith. Joe Smith, thank you so much for calling. How can I help you?" And they're just so enthusiastic about, like, what a pleasure to talk to you. Not like, "It's been a pleasure speaking to you, sir. Have a great afternoon."
Does it come off as genuine?
It so comes across as genuine, and that doesn't matter if you're calling. And I imagine some of their customer services is outsourced overseas. Even if you're talking to someone who's outsourced, they're so well trained. Oh, and if there's an issue too, like they'll humanize it. They'll say, "Hey, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you have a better day. I'll get that out to you. Here's what I'm going to do to get that squared away. You had an issue with your card. There were some unauthorized purchases. I'm going to overnight you a card. You're going to see that in the mail tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You're not liable for any fraudulent charges or anything like that. If there are any other issues, just give us a call back. Here's your reference number versus, oh, sir, well, please allow 24 to 48 hours and blah, blah, blah."
So does that come down to, like, when you would go to make a script, are you making more of an outline, like kind of general points that you want to hit, or do you actually write out every word?
When I'm just getting started, I will do that, and I'll have a couple, and that would be one of my tips. I would have a couple different things that you're going to say and a couple different word-for-word scripts, and then you're going to piece together what's actually going to work best for you. Again, for a company like American Express, I imagine they're pretty much all told to kind of say the exact same thing. And what a pleasure speaking to you, or maybe mention the weather or something like that.
But and you want it to be, customers are calling in, or, you know, prospects or leads or whatever, you want them to have a consistent experience across different members of the company, whether it's customer service or the sales team or whoever, you know, they're dealing with. So I feel like scripts can help keep things consistent throughout the company too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of companies are working on now having set procedures and policies in place, and okay, well, if it is this problem, then we'll give a $20 credit or stuff like that. But how that message might be delivered, it becomes an issue. So, you know, if you're even if you're in customer service, you're really in sales. You're still selling. Customer, they might say, I want all my money back, and maybe the best you can do is, you know, say, hey, I can offer you a repair, and I can get you I can get you a credit for a future purchase if you don't want the repair, and you have to sell them on that. But the first thing I would say in terms of scripts, you can start off, and that probably would be my recommendation, to really write word for word what you're going to say. Wrap it around a little bit, and you're going to want to role play with someone and kind of go back and forth. The whole script should not be you talking for 1 minute and 30 seconds before the other person says anything.
Right.
There's got to be some questions. So again, you're going to script your questions, because there's certain questions you should ask no matter what. You know, you need to get that out of the way. You know, whether that's budget, decision maker, or any of those questions, you need to get out of the way right away. In terms of the introduction of the actual script, you should really try to slow it down a little bit, like how you talk in the beginning. Really enunciate.
Are you capable of talking slow?
I'm a very good salesperson, so when it comes to that, I can. Or if you talk fast, at least you can explain it to people. So, for example, let's say, hey, this is Mark. I'm, calling from PNG, or hey, this is Joe. I'm calling from ABC Company, and the reason for my call is da da da. And then at one point, I might say, now, if I'm talking too fast, let me know. I am from Jersey, so I apologize if that's the case. And you kind of lighten it up a little bit. It's okay to have some brief pauses and some ums and stuff like that. Not overly, but a little bit, so it's more natural.
In one of the previous podcasts too, where you recommended leaving that pause to kind of let a little bit of question or discomfort almost settle into the conversation.
That and when we talked about that pause, that's more so for closing. But throughout the presentation, you want to pause for a couple different reasons. In a script, you want to pause to get more information and to really process things. But also, you want to pause at the end if they bring up an objection or they say something. That's pretty much the only pressure, so to speak, is the pressure of silence. And this is
right. People want to fill that empty space, and it might keep them talking or bring up a new point that they wouldn't have mentioned otherwise.
Yeah, and you can listen to me saying this in 2015. A lot of times in those situations, whoever speaks last loses, whoever speaks first loses. You can hear that. Tom Hopkins said that in the 1980s. I'm sure all you, Dale Carnegie probably said it, way back when. So this is something that it's going back through the ages, and it's something that still works because it's how people are wired. And you are right; they don't want to hear that silence. It's uncomfortable. So, in terms of the actual opening for your script, you want to be able to basically establish rapport right away. So you want to be confident. And one of the best ways to do this is have it written down and go over it a couple times. So just go over your script. Be very, very confident in that and exactly what you're saying. Say the person's name, and I covered this in another podcast. If you could say it twice within the first maybe 10 seconds, it's really, really positive. So if you listen to the radio, like I grew up in Jersey, and now it's actually nationally syndicated. It's the Elvis Duran show. Do you listen to Elvis Duran?
Yep. I
know you do. I just said that so the podcast people could. Now, whenever they have a guest on the show, I'm not sure if you noticed, is hey, who do we have on the line? Mm-hmm. Michelle. Hey, Michelle. How's it going? How you doing? And they'll just go into it, and they'll say their name twice, really quick, rapid fire. Right. And it's not like the Blimey Cow Kid where it's like and Amber, we got 3 kills, Amber, and when you get 3 kills, it's called a perfection Amber, and you're not doing it where it's ridiculously obvious, but people like to hear their name.
Right.
So
what else should they be putting into their script?
The reason for the call very quickly. You need to get that right. You need to get that out of the way right away. If they don't have a good idea of why you're calling, 15, 20 seconds in, you're done. You don't even have that much time really to make that impression.
Right.
So let's say hypothetically, I don't know. We did microphones, toys. You know, if I was a toy wholesaler and I was calling into maybe smaller retailers or something like that, I'd say, hey, this is Joe. I'm calling from Fun Toys Incorporated. I was looking for Kathy.
May I ask what you're calling about?
The reason for my call basically is I represent Fun Toys, and what we do here is we help retailers like yours basically add on to their product line right now. We have a really unique product. It's very, very high margin for retailers like you, and pretty much it doesn't take a whole lot of shelf life. So I just wanted to talk to shelf space. Yes, doesn't take a whole lot. It doesn't take a whole lot of shelf space. And just wanted to talk to Kathy. I believe she's the person, or maybe you can help me out.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You want me to keep talking?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, hypothetically, so she was being the gatekeeper, and again, I don't get frazzled with that. You know, she said, okay, and wants to call in reference to. You don't want to be like, maybe I could sell you something.
Well, and in your script, you shouldn't also be saying, you know, we're the number one toy manufacturer, or we're, you know, like all of those terms don't mean anything. So when you're telling me that you have high margins and it doesn't take up a lot of shelf space, those are very specific things that are going to be appealing to somebody in that area that's buying toys. You know, those are the things that they're caring about. Those are the things that they're keeping an eye on. And that kind of would pique somebody's interest if you're showing that you care about the same things that they're caring about. Mm-hmm. You understand what they need and you're able to provide it.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, pretty much whatever small benefit, you don't need to throw up all the benefits it could possibly be. So if I'm thinking of a small toy thing, I can talk about, hey, it's high margin for your company. By the way, they're educational but doesn't have the educational stigma. It's made in the U.S. and nothing's made in the U.S. You know, you don't have to worry about lead paint and stuff like that, although I think most people forgot about that when all the Chinese toys were coming in with lead paint in them.
They forgot about it?
Yeah, a lot of people did.
What do you mean they forgot about it? That was like a huge deal.
Yeah, and now is anyone concerned about buying toys from China anymore?
Hopefully they fix the problem.
See, no one's really checking. No one's saying, oh, wait, I might not want to play with this. You know, it came from China. But at the time, when you bought a toy, it was a fairly big thing. And you'd see it and be like, oh, made in China. I better look. I better see if this manufacturer was here. But again, you don't need to get all the actual benefits out of the way, but what you think is your most compelling... I'm drawing a blank now.
Like the most compelling feature of what you're selling.
No, value proposition. Value proposition. That's the word I'm looking for. Feature would be, for example, triple pane windows. So triple pane is a feature.
Okay.
The advantage is it's better at keeping heat inside in the wintertime. So FAB, feature, advantage, then benefit.
Okay.
And then the benefit is what that actually means to the customer. So the benefit for you is basically you're keeping more heat in your house, your electric bills are going to be lower, your gas bill is going to be lower.
Right.
So you want to talk about the key value proposition, which is what you can do that maybe no one else can do and that you can prove.
And when you're talking about scripts, like when you use scripts, is that mostly in the first couple calls? Like, do you use scripts most often for cold calling, or do you use them further down the sales process as well?
I would say in the beginning you want a script for the initial call to get the attention, and then when you have the relationship, you don't really need to script out every single word or conversation, but you do want to have a general agenda, something related to that. We can talk about certain presentation skills in another podcast. But I would highly recommend having an agenda for any sort of meeting, especially with like a larger client, and pretty much the outline of the agenda. And I can tell you this from personal use, I've never used an agenda and not gotten the business, period. So basically all we're going to do in the agenda which is similar. It's similar to having basically a talk track and talking points. You have the date, the company you're meeting, the person you're meeting, and the time, and key things that you want to cover. And then what I do have scripted is what I'll say in the beginning. So when I prepare my agenda, I'll say to them, hey, look, and you do the warm-up, you kind of talk to them. Warm-up is when you're building rapport, you talk about nonsense, the weather, weekend, family, all that good stuff. And then you go into and say, look, hey, I know you're really busy, so there's a couple things I really wanted to cover today so I can have a good understanding and see if I can help your business. I put together this agenda here, so these are some of the questions I have for you, and these are some of the things I needed clarity on. Fair enough? And they like that, and they see that written. It's on your letterhead. It looks nice. If you can get it laminated on thick paper, I would do that too and be like, look, I'm deadly serious about this. I took a lot of time to prepare for this meeting here. So, but to answer your question, script in the beginning, certain things, you might have 90% what you're going to say, and then during the sales conversation, it has to be more of a conversation. I mean, when you're asking out someone for the first time, you might, text, okay, how am I going to text her? And you kind of mull it over your head. But when you're on the actual date, you can't be like, okay, let me get my index cards here. Okay, family.
And once you get further down that process, everything's going to be a little bit different. What you want to tell different customers is going to be hopefully customized to whichever customer you're talking to.
Correct.
All right, I have some more questions, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please subscribe and rate us on iTunes. This helps us out a lot, and it helps new people find our podcast, and we just like to see it. Mm-hmm. You can email us at pushpullsales@gmail.com or tweet us at pushpullsales. We're always open to any feedback or suggestions for future topics, and any questions that you might have. And we also provide show notes on our website, which is pushpullsales.com. If we ever reference anything or any resources, we'll be sure to link to those, and you can grab them there. So my other question is, since you're sales manager, I'm managing a couple sales reps, do you write out scripts for them?
No, I give them ideas and I give them scripts that I've used, but I do not personally write out one and say, yes, you have to use this. I expect them when anyone starts, I want them basically to have 3 different ways to say anything, and that includes emails and stuff like that too. So there's so many things that you're going to do that's going to be very, very repetitive. So a voicemail. The first voicemail, you should pretty much have that scripted out and know how you're going to say it. But again, you want to be natural when you say it. So say, hey, this is John. I'm calling from ABC Company. We're the largest supplier of ping pong balls in the U.S. and I think I can help you out. Give me a call, or no, you want to be natural. Say, hey, John, this is Joe. I'm with ABC Company. We're the largest supplier. No, I said that's a mistake. Yeah. My company helps out table tennis manufacturers like you. We have very high quality products, and I might be able to help. You sell more ping pong tables, or whatever you're going to say. Just kind of keep it natural. In terms of scripting generals, I'll give them I'll give them the skeleton. It's kind of like if your teacher gives you a project and say, hey, I want you to write a story about Yetis. It's going to be about Yetis. You just got to figure out everything else.
Okay. So what other kind of things are you writing scripts for? You're writing them, for the cold call, for that first voicemail. Do you even have kind of like email scripts, like follow-up email scripts?
It's not really a script. It's a template.
Just like a template.
Yeah, and that's something you can do to kind of save time. If you have a CRM and you have it set up the right way, CRM, by the way, stands for Client Relationship Management CRM system, or a Customer Relationship Management System. What you can do is you have email templates on there, and basically it'll auto-populate the name. And some things you can customize. So if you hear, hey, I'm out of vacation, I'm on vacation till next Thursday, you don't want to send this. You don't want to send the template that actually says, well, I'll call you tomorrow, if okay, he's not going to be in the office. Another way to get around that, and some people, again, it's a great tip. When I found out, and one of my sales reps actually came up with the idea before I was copy and pasting, before we actually had a CRM, is you can actually just make your whole signature the actual email that you want to send. You just save it as an actual template in Outlook.
Like as a separate signature?
Yeah, so it'll be like first voicemail, email, and that'll be the signature, and it'll be the whole email. Just because it's a signature, that's what automatically populates at the bottom. You can kind of fill in some things.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
So I would have a template for the first 3 attempts, and exactly what you're going to say, and say 3 different things. Then that's voicemail, and that's email. So in terms of a script, first thing you're going to do, be enthusiastic, practice it a lot. Say their name.
It sounds natural.
Say their name a couple times. I would not give them your last name. Some people are gonna argue with me over this, but I think when you give your last name, it screams telemarketer, or it comes across very natural. Like, I would never say, "Hey Billy, this is John Smith. I passed by your house and I forgot we never caught up for drinks." You say, "No, hey Billy, this is John. I passed by your house. I realized we never set a date to kind of get caught up for drinks. Do you think maybe Saturday you'd be available," or something like that? You want to talk to your customer how you would talk to your friend. You want to keep it very natural. So yeah, the element that you want in the actual script is to be well rehearsed and to sound very natural, to sound like you're talking to a friend. You want to mention the name a couple times in the beginning. And this is my personal opinion. Someone might say no, the first name, that's not going to be memorable.
It is if your name's Marcello.
It is if your name's Marcello, but ironically, I do not use that very often.
I know.
I abbreviate my name a lot, especially where I am right now, because people have a hard time pronouncing my name, and it drives me crazy. Or people will make my name like, okay, so your name's Marcello? Okay. No, it's not first name Mark, last name Ello. It's Marcello. It's, you want to get out the company that you're representing really briefly. You just want to say, "Hey, I'm with ABC Company," and you're not going to say what your company motto is or something like that, unless your company motto is exactly, "We help people do this." So the reason for my call is we help people. I'm calling from ABC Company, and what we do is we help businesses like yours. We help them lower their electric bill, and I wanted maybe to see if I can help you out as well. Do you have a couple minutes? Boom, done. So what we'll do now, I'll just run through like a bad script, and then we'll see like all the things that are bad about it, and then we'll run through a little bit better script. And keep in mind, right now I'm ad-libbing, but I've done this enough that it comes across fairly natural. So, hi, I was looking to speak with a person who purchases who handles document management for your company.
Can I ask what this is in reference to?
I really need to speak with someone about document management. This is Joe. I'm with Xerox. I'm with Xerox Company. We're the largest actually provider of copiers. We actually coined the phrase Xerox back in the day, and we have over 100,000 customers. So I really like to speak with someone who handles your document management and maybe data outsourcing systems.
I can pass that information along. Is there anything that you'd like me to take down in a message?
No. You know what? I'm just gonna call back then. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
Yep, bye. Okay. So first off, I didn't really get the person's name. So if you can get that, say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." So you need to throw people off too. And someone would say, "Hey, and what's the call in reference to?" You can throw that right back at him and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name." And say, "Oh, this is Mary." "Oh, hey, Mary, the call is in reference to," and then you go right back into it. So a good scripting technique is to answer a question with a question and have certain rebuttals ready. So in terms of scripting, if you do get an objection, if they say this, I know I'm going to say this. So if someone says, "I'm not interested in my script," and be like, "Great, that's exactly why I'm calling." So in this situation, I said that the company name. I gave a first and last name. I said we have a bunch of customers. We're the largest. We coined this phrase, and it means nothing to the customer. I also used jargon. I didn't keep it simple. Document management, data, whatever systems. That drives me crazy.
It also came off as kind of pushy. Like when I ask, why are you calling? You're like, I just need to speak to someone who handles blah blah blah. I don't.
Right.
that is off-putting, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to let you speak to them.
Right.
They're not going to enjoy speaking to you, and they're going to get mad at me if I put your call through to them.
Yeah.
And you don't sound like you know what you're talking about, and you don't sound friendly, and it's not going to be a good experience.
Yep. So another bad thing, I didn't leave any voicemail or any way to get a hold of me. So I'm going to try again. I'm probably going to get a hold of that same person who I just spoke with in some way, shape, or form in the future. And even if I do get an appointment, I'm going to see that person and be like, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. He was an idiot on the phone. You know, it's like, oh, you know, and you try to be friendly, and you might have a short memory, but if you give someone an unpleasant experience, people are going to remember it. I remember one person called my office constantly, and we always ask, okay, and I'm looking to speak with Patrick. Patrick's the owner of my company. I say, great. And what's the name of your company? And he said, no, I just need to talk to Patrick. I was like, can you give me the name of your company? No, you don't. No, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm like, and he would keep calling. I'm like, if you don't give me the name of the company, there's no way on earth I'm going to let you talk to the owner of the company. What are you, nuts?
Yeah.
And he would just keep doing it. I think eventually, and this is, I taught someone in the company to say the most soul-crushing thing to a sales rep, you know, you've been calling now for months. If he was interested, he would have called you back by now. And that person stopped calling. But yeah, you want to say the name of the company. Now we can kind of run through a scenario where I'm going to give a good presentation. So let's kind of... excuse me. I got a frog in my throat. We can go ahead and run through maybe a different product or a different service. So Sherry, how about it?
What?
Give me a product or a service. Or you can try to sell me. We can do that.
That's all right. I could have done the bad one probably. All right, we're selling. Sell me. What's something that would be like a recurring service? Sell me Netflix.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be creative with this. Hey, I was looking for Sherry.
Yeah, this is her.
Hey, Sherry, this is Mike. Actually, I'm calling from Netflix. And really quick, Sherry, the reason for my call is we have a really great program here. I see at some point you'd gone on our website and you might have looked at us, but you never really signed up for the service. So we have a great free trial, and I wanted to get you set up. Just wanted to see so I can get you set up properly. Let me ask you, how many devices do you have in your house right now that you might be able to stream Netflix to?
Too many to count. We have 2 phones, a tablet, an Apple TV, a TiVo, and a Roku, and computer, 2 computers.
Wow, that's great. Well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to love this. For $8 a month, you can stream to all those devices. But right now, I'm going to get you set up on a free 30-day trial. So we'll get you set up. Can I get the email address that you normally use for that account?
I'm not sure that I'm ready to actually sign up for the trial.
Okay. You're not ready to sign up for a free trial. There's no obligation, and you have that many devices. Let me ask you, do you have any kids?
2.
You have 2 kids. I tell you, to keep my kids, especially if I just need to wash the dishes and just empty the dishwasher for a second, it's a great service. Again, if you don't like it, you can just cancel it right away. You don't even need actually to put in any credit card information. Actually, no, you don't even need to cancel it. If you don't have your credit card information, it just stops at 30 days. You want to keep going, you put your credit card information in.
Well, if that's the case, if I don't have to go through a cancellation process, then yeah, I'd be interested. Yeah,
and once you sign up, and we don't have a lot of people cancel, once you sign up, it literally takes 5 minutes to cancel. It doesn't happen very often. But if someone, they move or they, internet connection's real shoddy where they are at, or they want to temporarily pause the service, it only takes 5 minutes. So, I mean, in the future, I wouldn't really be worried about that. I'm just going to cut it short right there. Something like Netflix is $8 a month, and she says, you don't want a free trial. Okay. I kind of went through and okay, well, why would you not want to do it? And most people don't want to do it because they have to cancel it.
Right.
So I said the 2 reasons. I took out now, well, there is no, and again, I ad-libbed this, I didn't script this, but in my mind, the first thing I'd say, well, there's nothing, you don't need a credit card to do it. It would just get you signed up, and if you like it, you enter your credit card information in the future, if you're not happy, it only takes 5 minutes. So I already took away that objection down. If someone says, no, because then you guys bill me every month, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, again, bad script.
But you were a lot friendlier. You applied it to my life. You asked me questions about my life. I mean, even with that initial setup, if you said you were calling to get me set up with a free trial, but you didn't stop talking right there, because my response at that point would have been, no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't give me the option to answer at that point. You said, calling to set you up with a free trial. Let me ask you a question. How many devices do you have in your house that could stream? Then I was able to give you valuable information, and you were able to avoid a no right off the bat.
Right. So, yeah.
But you still let me know why you were calling. So I think overall that kind of makes sense.
And we can kind of go into detail, and I can really dissect scripts. And if people have maybe something more industry specific, if you can let us know. But I know companies that their presentation, it's almost 95% scripted. So that about wraps everything up for the week. We want to give a thank you to bensound.com for our intro and outro music. And I want to thank you for listening. Tune in next week where we'll tackle another topic. If you have any questions or feedback on today's episode, head to pushpullsales.com, tweet us at pushpullsales, send us an email, pushpullsales@gmail.com. We do hop on the Scope.
Periscope.
We hop on Periscope every once in a while. So if you want to hop on that too, and you have any questions for us, just leave it in the comments. Is it? As comments? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's what you call them over there.
Okay.
And over there, I'm mom_share, SHAR, or you can just find me, Sherry Medini. And we'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.